Hello, everybody. I'm just getting everything finalized. A little bit off to the side, trying not to make any sudden movements. All right. See, we've got 1, 2, 3. We could probably do maybe half of one. That would look good. Okay. It's always a struggle to get everything lined up, let me tell you, because you got to make sure that like the lines here are going well, but also that the phone itself, because I use my iPhone, you want to make sure that it's nice and level too, because if it's on an angle, it's going to show that the lines are a little skewed. So, hello everyone, Justin here, of course. It is the first Monday of the month. I had seen some people saying that today was May Day, and I feel like maybe I wasn't paying attention to the timestamp because I always thought May Day was May 1st. But I cannot believe it is the beginning of May. I was talking to my husband yesterday. We are heading off to New York City next week, and I'm really excited for that. But I told him, I'm like, by the time we get home, May's going to be halfway over. So it's just crazy how time flies, but I'm excited to be crafting with y'all tonight. I always love it. It's a great way after a work day just to get some stuff taken care of and be with y'all. So I'm super pumped because Miss Ink, I don't know if you guys have been over to the store lately, there have been some brand new stencils that have dropped, and there are some really fun masking stencils, which I always have a lot of fun with, so I figured we would play around with them a little bit tonight. So the stencil in question that I'm talking about, that I'm going to be primarily using, is the Wavy masking stencil, and this is a 2-piece stencil. Let's just go ahead and take it out of the packaging. It almost looks like wine glasses or champagne flutes, which I love as well. So it's a 2-piece stencil, and these 2 layers perfectly line up one over another. Just making sure, there we go. Because there's the Miss Ink etching is on the bottom of them, so I like getting those all lined up. So I'm going to be using these tonight just to make a card for y'all. We're going to do a little bit of rainbow inspiration with the Pretty Bird set. Lots of inks. I have pulled almost, I think, 20 ink colors tonight. So like, this is very ambitious for me, but I have an idea in my head and I think it's going to work very well. So while it looks like a lot, I'm not overwhelmed by it. So if you guys are stopping by, drop a quick comment, say hello, but I want to get into a little bit of ink blending. So what I'm going to do is I do have a piece of A2 cardstock. This is Bristol blending cardstock, as I like to call it. It's Strathmore Bristol Smooth Series 300. If you are using oxide inks, this ink will change your life, or this paper rather, because it blends so perfectly. So what I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to tape up the back of it. And I've got some pixie tape, just because I want a nice low-tack tape. I didn't want to do a spray adhesive tonight. I didn't think it was necessary yet. And let's see, let's flip it over. And what I like to do is just kind of do it all over the back. All 4 corners is fine. And if you guys are here, like I said, drop a quick comment, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I love to see where everybody's from when I do my lives. All right, do a little bit more. Like that. And yeah, that one's not as much, but that's okay. All right, so let's flip this over. And then I kind of like to get it as centered as I can. I'll do like that and that. And press it nice and down like that. Now I am going to be doing a rainbow of sorts. So I am going to start with pink, which you guys are going to be like, well, why are you doing pink? When I craft a lot with rainbows, I like to use pink instead of red because I like just like the transition from pink to orange. And I'm kind of going for more tropical colors tonight anyways. So it's like, even though it's probably what I would have pulled anyway, it works perfectly. So I'm going to grab a piece of tape just to help with my masking. We'll just put it right there. And we're going to start with some Kitsch Flamingo. Let me grab my blending tool. All right. So I'm gonna just go ahead with my Kitsch Flamingo and just go right in. And I put that piece of tape underneath as like a masking tape because I always do it for like a little extra assurance. You never know when you might just be a little ambitious with your ink blending. All right, perfect. So next what we're gonna go ahead and do is pull this down to right here. I probably should use one more piece. And like I said, if you guys are watching, drop a quick comment, say hello. I always love who's stopping by, just so I can chat a little with you. It's always a good time. All right. Next, I'm going to be using some dried Marigold. There we go. All right. Grab some dried Marigold. I think this is the first time I'm using it with this piece of foam, which is totally cool. All right. Kind of going in. You know what? I just realized I did the wrong color, but we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna do, yep, this is, yeah. Of course you screwed it up. That's okay, Justin. You know what? Let's see. It's gonna work. I know it's gonna work, so let's go ahead. All right, we'll do yellow next. Next is squeezed lemonade. All right. All right, and then we're gonna finish this off. We're gonna go back to that Kitsch Flamingo. Just like that. All right. Now next what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to remove this stencil and I'm going to grab a second stencil to use with it. And I'm going to use the Blue It Burst stencil. Hello, Allison. Thanks for stopping by. All right. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, since we've got all those fun tropical colors situated, I'm gonna grab my Blue It Burst, which is another new stencil. And I'm going to line that up directly behind my stencil, just like this. And then I just gotta match everything back up. Just like that. And then I'm gonna grab a little extra tape just to help hold my other stencil down. All right. Let's see. Then we're gonna go in a little darker. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna go in with some picked raspberry. Let's just go ahead and go in right over this. Just like that. And then we're gonna go down here as well. All right. Perfect. I've got a little bit that got over there because I didn't mask it, but I can fix it, no problem. So let's go ahead, get some masking in, do some yellow. We're gonna go in with some mustard seed. All right. Perfect. And then finish this off with some carved pumpkin. Do some right here. I know I'm being quiet. I just want to make sure that I am applying my stencils appropriately. This is what happens when I get focused, y'all. All right. Then we're gonna go in with some carved pumpkin. There we go. I think it's gonna look really great. I'm hoping so, at least. Masking stencils are like so one of my favorite things to use right now. I love using them with inks and glitz gels and foils and pastes. It's just a lot of fun. All right, let's see. All right, so that's one stencil done. So I can set that off to the side. And now we can focus on the next set of colors, which are gonna be some cooler colors. So let's go ahead and, where did I put the second part to that stencil? Oh boy, here it is. Da, 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 da. All right, so now we gotta figure out how it gets all nice and lined up. I'm trying to line it up with the etchings the best that I can. You know what, that's pretty good. That is pretty good if I don't say so myself. All right. Oh, thanks so much, Allison. I appreciate you for being here. All right, next, let's go in. What colors? I'm just gonna kind of go with my own pattern of colors. So we're gonna do, purple is gonna be what's gonna go up top. So we're gonna do some shaded lilac. All right. All right, there's some purple. Hello, Marie. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. All right, then after purple, let's do a little bit of, we're gonna do some green. I'm just kind of mixing it up. I was gonna go in rainbow order, kind of screwed it up early on, so we're just gonna go with however I want. All right, this is Twisted Citron. All right, just like that. Perfection. Oh, we got a little bit over there. It's okay, I'll fix it with the shaded lilac. See, this is why I use the masking tape. I need to remember to keep doing that. All right, let's go back in and we'll finish off that last bit. And I've got some salvaged patina, which I know is going to work really well with this color palette. At least, gosh, I hope so. All right. No, not that color. There we go. All right. Dab off the excess. All right. Just blending it nice up. All right. Perfection. All right, I can move this piece off. Oh, ooh, darn it. That one section needs a little bit of love. See, I spoke too soon. Let me get my Twisted Citron, I can blend that out. And hello, Julia. Thanks for stopping by. I love the dual stenciling as well. And what I love about oxides are a very forgiving ink. And what I mean by that is that, as you can see, I've already made a couple blunders while I've been crafting, and I can just kind of ink over them because they blend up. It doesn't erase it, but it very much so minimizes the effect. All right, let's go ahead and put those back. Perfect. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this off. Ooh! Okay, that works. I didn't do it in rainbow order like I had planned, but it works very well. So next what we're gonna go ahead and do is I have the lava lamp stencil. So I'm gonna put that over top. Just, you know what? We're gonna line it up the best that I can. You know, it's one of those like best that I can days. All right. Yep, that should do just about fine. All right, and then what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna line everything up. All right, and then I'm gonna use some of my pixie tape. And we're gonna go over this as well. Now I am using all oxides for this, but you could do like an oxide layer and then go over your oxide with regular distress ink if that's what you choose to do. Because it totally works. You just can't use the same blending tool when you're doing it, because it kind of cross-contaminates them, and you don't want that. You don't want any issues with your gorgeous inks. All right, we're gonna toss some of that. We'll start with the purple. We're just gonna kind of mask off. And I'm gonna grab some Wilted Violet. And y'all, I love this lava lamp stencil. I have been eyeballing it for the longest time, and I just got my hands on it a couple weeks ago, and I thought tonight would be the perfect opportunity to use it. All right, so there's the Wilted Violet. All right, next we're gonna do some Mowed Lawn. So let's go ahead, we'll bring this up and get another piece of tape going. All right, just to help mask it off like that. And we'll do some Mowed Lawn. I wish that there would be a like darker lime green color, but Mowed Lawn is about as close as it gets when it comes to the oxide inks. That's okay. It gets the job done. Perfect. I need to start putting these away while I'm using them too. All right, and then let's finish it off with some peacock feathers to go over that salvaged patina. Yeah, my workstation is gonna need a hefty cleaning when we're done with these colors. All right, so we're gonna go in, da-da-da-da. All right, Perfect. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and remove our tapes. Ooh, y'all, that's pretty. That's really pretty. For messing up the color pattern, I'm very happy right now. All right. Ooh, let's put those over there. Y'all, this is good. Can I say that about my own thing? I like this. This could be like in a pattern paper pack, I think at least. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Julia and Nancy. I think this looks fantastic. I'm just sitting here, I'm like, you know what? I would buy this if it was like a pattern paper pack. That's really fun. All right, let's see if I can get a little bit of this cleaned off. Perfect. And then what I wanted to do, and it's like, well, why ruin a good thing? I wanted to do a little splattering of some metallic accent watercolors. So let's go in. I always go to gold. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Should I do a little bit of gold with my metallic accents, or I would like to do just one color? Do you think I should do something else? I just kind of thought the gold would kind of be a little neutral. I guess really what would be neutral is this color, which is like a silver. But what are your thoughts? What metallic watercolor should I use just to add a little bit of flair to this paper? Gold. Okay, Carrie says gold. We've got one vote for gold. Allison says emerald. Okay, so this is probably more of a J. No, that's probably closer to emerald. So Allison votes this, right, Allison? Because this, okay, I'll show you. Because this is like kind of more of like a peacock jade color, and I feel like this is more of like maybe in that green emerald family, but you let me know left or right which one you meant. You can kind of see a little bit of a difference. All right. All right, I think Allison means this one. Okay, so we've got one emerald, we've got one gold. Does anybody want to cast a tie-breaking vote? I'll give it like, countdown from like 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5 inky fingers, 1. All right, I'm going to go with the gold because Carrie commented first. That's going to be my tiebreaker. I'm sorry, Allison. We're going to go with the mid-tone gold. So I'm just going to spray it up, get my brush ready. I think the gold will be pretty. I think the emerald would be pretty too. Hello, Brienne. I got all my ink blending. And then we're going to do some ink smushing. Because I'm not doing any coloring tonight. It's all ink blending. So I'm going to do a little bit of ink smushing to color up my birdies. All right. So. All right. Perfection. So I'm going to go ahead, clean up my brush, put this away. And then I'm going to set this panel aside to dry, and we'll come back to it shortly. And let's clear this off really quickly. And then we're going to do a little bit of ink smushing. And I think I can probably do it directly on this surface. Usually I do it on a glass surface, but I feel like I could probably get away with doing it here. So for my ink smushing, because this is just how I want to do it, I'm going to be using Distress inks tonight, not the oxides that I just used, because you're probably like, well, Justin, you could have probably just ink smushed everything you cleaned up. This is how my mind works. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I've got a little bit of Kitsch Flamingo, so I'm just going to kind of dab it down. So we're going to do a little bit of that. We're going to do a little bit of the Carved Pumpkin, and a little bit of the Squeezed Lemonade. Like that. Okay. So then I have my little bit of paper, which I should cut in half really quickly. All right, so let's go ahead, do some pink. All right, and we'll do, you know, we're gonna set it with some heat. All right, a little bit orange. Hello, Lisa. And we'll do a little bit of yellow. Just like that. Oh, Lisa, how exciting. You were on the West Coast, right? If memory serves me correctly. All right, and we're going to use this for one of our birds. So I'm going to go ahead and set that off to the side. We'll go ahead and clean this up, but I'll show you guys. We've got this really nice, just sort of like warm tones. I've got to figure out where the best place to stamp our bird is. All right. All right, so that one I can set off to the side. Next, let's do some cool colors. So I've got and we got a jumper. Salvage patina. Like that. And I gotta find the lid. There we go. We'll do a little bit of shaded lilac. And I do usually like, that's gonna be the overwhelming color, isn't it? All right. I usually like using a glass mat for this. This is Twisted Citron. All right, so we're just gonna go in. But I'm just doing it this way to reduce glare. So let's go in. We'll do the shaded lilac first. All right. I thought it would be fun to do a no color method. I don't know, just something a little different, something vibrant. All right, we'll do a little bit of salvage patina. All right. And normally I like to get my inks a little bit more vibrant, but I like them a little bit more muted. Yes, I did upgrade my heat gun brand. Thank you for noticing. This is Wagner. I had an Amazon credit, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself, acting like I don't on a daily basis or a weekly basis. No, it's more like daily when it comes to craft stuff. All right. All right. Just like that. And I think we got some good middle ground. All right. See? That's what I did. I treat myself. Hello, Tasha. Ooh, my fingers are getting toasty. All right, good thing we're about done. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and wipe this down. And we've got our 2 ink smush sections. Why did I misplace the first one? There it is. All right, so we've got our cool colors and our warm colors. So I'm gonna go in and I wanna stamp them. I'm gonna do some birds on them. Yes, and they're dry because I'm gonna be doing a little bit of heat embossing. So we're gonna just go ahead and lay these in here. Let's see. We'll lay it across 2 at once. That'll be fine, it'll work. All right, and I've got my Pretty Bird stamp set. I want to do a toucan and a parrot. Yeah, I want to do that. So we're gonna do, I think the parrot can go like right there. And the toucan can go like right there. right, so we're gonna go ahead, pick them up. Thank you, Brand. I think it's gonna look cute. It's different for me. You know I'm a colorist, so like I really like to do my colors. So I'm gonna go in, I've got my embossing tool, just so a little bit of anti-static. And then we're gonna go in, I'm gonna do clear embossing powder with some VersaFine. So this is VersaFine Nocturne ink. Let's ink it up. And then, all right, just press it down. Like that. Then do it one more time, and then I'm gonna very quickly take them off. I can clean that later. And let's go ahead and do some clear embossing powder. I've got some clear. A little chunky, that's okay. All right. Perfect. And I chose clear because I figured if I got any that were like an outlier, you wouldn't see it once it dries. Perfect. Pours out entire jar. Not the entire jar. Don't bust my chops, girl. That's okay. All right, we're gonna heat emboss. I have made many a mess with my embossing powder. All right, so let's go ahead and do some fussy cutting. So I'm gonna try to cut. Yeah, that's my fussy cutting. I'm done. I like to just kind of cut my image out a little first, but I can save that paper for later. All right. So let's just go in now. I was really excited to come up with today's project just because this is really different. I usually always rely on my Copic markers for coloring, but every once in a while I like to do something a little different for me. And sometimes we got to remind ourselves that even though we have these beautiful stamp sets that you can color up and make really pretty with your markers and your pencils and your watercolors, it's really fun just to find new ways to use them. One of my favorite things too is using just like the black and white impressed image of your stamps and coming up with the design from that, or using your elements of your stamp set to make your background and just stamping them on it. So I wanted to kind of stretch the stamp's purpose today. And plus, I think these little birds are so dang cute. I feel like it's really cool because this card's going to show off both the masking stencil and this stamp set really well. And I also love that this stamp set comes with some floral branches that the birds can sit on. So you can kind of build little scenes of sorts. I'm going to set that off to the side. We'll do this one. Comments. Abstract, I like it. I always pour the whole jar and then make a mess trying to put it back in. You know what? I feel like I need to get in the habit, Tasha, of like investing in coffee filters. I have, oh my God, this is going to sound so bad. And I don't want anybody to think that like I'm saying anything negative because we all work with what we can in terms of our craft stash. But I have accumulated some paper over the years that I wish I hadn't. And sometimes what I do is I just call it crummy cardstock. And I've got a stash of crummy cardstock and I use it for crummy purposes. I use it to like snatch up all the like extra embossing powder and filter it back into the jar. I use it when I'm using any sort of like a paste or glitz gel during a live that I can do it underneath and use it as like a quick cleanup by just throwing it away. I use it for masking purposes. And maybe it's a little wasteful because I'm not putting it on a card, but I am using it. It's just kind of, I'm using it more for like one-time use things. But isn't that what like all paper kind of is in crafting for the most part, is one-time use? You know? All right. perfect. So we've got our two little birds. They don't have names yet. They could be like Tony and Polly, you know? Polly is such a standard bird name. Pretty birds. I always use coffee filters. I think I knew that about you, Brianne. Marie always use coffee filters. That's what I do. All the cheap paper for extra embossing powder ink. Okay, Carrie. So I'm not the only one who does that. I feel like the name of crummy cardstock that I give it maybe isn't the nicest thing. Maybe I'm overthinking paper. No, well, maybe, but like, who saves their scraps? You know, like we all save our scrap paper because we don't want to be wasteful with it. So I don't know. Maybe I am overthinking. That's a little on brand anyways. All right, so we've got Tony and Polly, our toucan and parrot. And what I want to do is I also have, I'll show you guys because it looks a little different when you're seeing it in green and white. I took this branch and I heat embossed it on like an apple mint colored cardstock in white powder, and I'm gonna do some ink blending over it. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's grab a blending stump. All right, and we're gonna do a little bit of cracked pistachio. I'm just gonna kind of go in and blend it up a little bit. Kind of do like randomness, but keeping some splotchy areas open. All right. And then we'll go in with some Lucky Clover. It's not really a blending stump. They're like, these are from Ranger. Blending stumps are more for like colored pencils. I'm just calling them that. These are like little mini ink blending tools, and they just have little foam pieces on the end. I just started using them. My thoughts on using them haven't entirely been fleshed out yet because they're kind of new, but they're okay. They're just basically small ink blending tools if you want to use like mini foam pads that aren't necessarily brushes. All right, let's go in. And then I'll probably go back in with the cracked pistachio just to kind of blend that out a little bit. All right. Da, 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 da. All right. And that gives it some fun discoloration because it's normally just this stark sort of apple mint color, but then you flip it over and it gives it a little bit of variance. I'm trying for the new tools. You guys, I'm kind of getting away from using a lot of blending brushes. Oh my gosh, Brianne's gonna bust my chops with this too. I recently decided to switch over to solely the wood blending tools, the foam blending tools with the wood handles for my Distress Oxide inks, just because I felt like my brushes were getting a little on the gunkier side. So like, I'm always kind of experimenting and moving around with new things, but I've been very happy with that change. All right, and I just cleaned off the powder from the ink from the embossing powder. So we got that. And it looks like for my background, that's all dry. Okay, perfect. So let's grab our card. I have a card base ready to go. Hello, Heidi. Oh, and thanks so much, Tasha. I missed that comment. I appreciate your kind words. And I'll go over everything I used when we're all done. Well, I just put my glue down. A little bit of glue fell off. All right. So, let's see. All right, just like that. And then I want to take my little birds and do like my little parrot right there. My little toucan over there. Thank you so much. do them both on the same branch, just, you know, little friends. Little bird friend. I mean, that one might need a little bit more glue. Sometimes I craft and I say, we got a jumper. And that's when something just goes outside of my working range. Yes, Polly and Tony are spilling the tea. All right, we're just gonna hold that down, grab some foam tape. And you know what? My sentiment, just because I feel like we can always use a happy birthday card in our stash, I'm just gonna put like a little happy birthday underneath Tony. Just like right there. It's kind of hiding in there. Not the biggest sentiment, but that'll work. All right. Flip it over. And I'll make sure, guys, when everything's done, I'll recap everything I used. And then I always try to post a little blog post as well with all the product links so you guys can catch it later as well. And we need a little bit more foam tape. There's no such thing as too much foam tape. All right, just like that. And of course, we're going to finish off with some embellishments. And I was going to take your all's vote on embellishments too, because this foam tape does not like my fingernails today. But yes, I pulled like 3 different embellishments from my stash, and I'm looking for some advice. Just kind of off in the center over here. That works. Well, you know me. It's never just like one colored embellishment. It's like all color embellishments. So I have, let me show you. I've got some enamel dots. Let's see, hold it against some white. I've got these enamel dots that I thought would kind of pull in well with the colors. So I've got some clear, some purple, pink. This is kind of a lime green. I feel like that's a very salvage patina. I've got that. I've also got iridescent bubbles from Studio Katya that give like a nice iridescent shine. So I've got that. And then the other thing that I pulled is a little non-conventional, but they work. I grabbed a sparkle blend from my stash, and this is called Merry and Bright. So it's Christmas colors. Or it's a Christmas themed, but if you look, it's got a bunch of little bits and bobs that totally would work with the color palette that we used. So those are kind of my options. I've got the enamel dots, the iridescent bubbles, or the sequin mix for the Merry and Bright. So what are y'all's thoughts? Brienne says enamel dots. We've got 1 vote enamel dots. I feel like I'm always team enamel dots too. I try to like, but here's the problem. I'm always team enamel dots, but I don't just own enamel dots. So I'm like trying to figure out what's going to make the most sense. All right. So Marie, when you say same, do you mean you're also team enamel dots? Because if that's 2, okay. And Tasha's got enamel dots. So that's at least 2 votes, possibly 3. So I think we're just going to go with the enamel dots. Unless we've got like someone... Oh, wait. Lisa says sequins. All good choices. All right. We got a lot of opinions. I appreciate everyone's input. We're going to go with the enamel dots, though, since I know I've got at least 2 votes for it. Maybe 3. All right, Marie, that's... Okay, so Marie's 3 votes. So we're just going to go ahead and with this. Shut your eyes and grab one. All right, we're going to do... a little bit of of that. And then let's see. And I've used all the colors I've wanted to. I don't really want to use this dark blue. So we're going to go in with some pink. And we're going to also do another purple over here. And this patina color. Do it like that. Y'all, we're all done. So I'm going to set that off to the side. I would never be brave enough to make this card. And see, Nancy comes in with the clear sequins. Timothy, hi, Tim. Thanks for stopping by. And if you don't prefer Tim, I'll stick to Timothy. I'm sorry. But yes, this was definitely outside my comfort zone tonight because we used 3 stencils. And I didn't color up my birds. I ink smushed them. So that's why they're a little splotchy looking. And I'm glad because that means they were intentional. But let's go over everything that we used because I'm digging how this card turned out. I also want you all to know that I have been in this live for about 45 minutes right now. And this was not that bad to put together because sometimes we make these cards and they take a lot of time. This is probably one of the shorter lives that I did. And it's super cute and colorful. So let's go over everything. So we have, oh, thanks so much, Carrie and Nancy. You guys are so sweet. I appreciate it. So we used the new Wavy masking stencil, and that is this background sort of wavy piece. It's a 2-piece stencil, so there's 2 separate pieces, and you use it to get that nice layering effect. So I went ahead, used that, and I used it on the top with the Bluet Burst, and then that's like 1, 2, 3, 4 Bluet Bursts, and then the middle layers are all the Lava Lamp stencil. And of course we use the Pretty Bird stamp set and sentiment that says the Happy Birthday, and I feel like that, oh yeah, it's still a little wet, so I can still kind of push it around a little bit. That works perfectly because it was not even, and that was going to drive me nuts. Honestly, I can probably put it right here. Ah, Happy Day. Let's go ahead and move that. See? So happy for these things. But yeah, so we used the Pretty Bird set. That's where both of the birds, the branch and the sentiment came from. And now my glue is being funny. Why is it being funny? All right, let's just go ahead. We'll put that right here. And I'll use my block to smush it down for a second. See, you thought I was done. I keep going. But we used Distress Oxides on the background, and then we did Distress Inks for the birds themselves to give them that fun little watercolor effect. And that's everything. So thank you guys so much for being here. It definitely was a little bit of a more quicker live than what I'm used to, but honestly, I love how this turned out. I love all the colors for the background. I love the little enamel dots giving those bursts of colors. This is a lot of fun. So thank you all so much for being here. I'll bring it up a little closer so you can see it. I'll get it all cleaned up and ready for a picture shortly, and I'll snap it. And oh, I love these colors. This really turned out good. I love this background. I see, even sometimes when I'm planning a live, I'm like, Justin, you sound a little ambitious with what your thoughts are, but this paid off good. Huh. I still think it could be a pattern paper, you know, but that's just me. All right. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Nancy, Marie, Carrie, and thank you, Julia and Tasha and Timothy for stopping by, and Brienne, of course. Thank you, Heidi, for being here. I know Allison popped on a little earlier. Much love, my friend. I don't know if you popped off, but whatever you're doing, thank you so much for being here. And then I will catch you guys on my next live, which I can't believe is going to be in the month of June, but it'll be here before you know it. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will catch you next time.